When ruthless tycoon Marcus Duvall leaves his personal vault unlocked, he expects betrayal, but instead he discovers something far more powerful: integrity. The silence of wealth can be deafening. Marcus Duvall, 47, stood in his penthouse office, floor-to-ceiling windows casting fractured light on a sleek marble floor. The room was cold, immaculate. Like him, known across London as a business shark, Marcus had made his fortune crushing competitors. But money never brought peace. Recently betrayed by a trusted associate, Marcus had become obsessed with loyalty. That obsession birthed an idea, one final test. His housekeeper, Elena Marquez, 38, had worked in his estate for 6 months. Quiet, punctual, and invisible by design. Today he would leave his private vault open, a vault filled with diamonds, gold, and untraceable cash, and install a hidden camera. He wanted to know, would she take the bait? Unaware of the eyes watching her, Elena entered the office at her usual hour. She wore her navy uniform, her dark brown hair tied in a neat bun, her bronze skin glistening faintly under the light. She dusted, mopped, and finally turned to the slightly ajar vault. Her lips tightened, her hands trembled, but not in temptation. Elena stepped closer to the vault, heart pounding, not from greed but the fear of being blamed. She had grown up knowing how people saw housekeepers, especially immigrant ones. She wasn't about to be a headline. Taking a deep breath, she retrieved a clean cloth from her apron and began wiping down the vault's polished interior, careful not to touch anything unnecessary. Inside the vault sat stacks of cash, glittering stones, and expensive watches. But what caught Elena's eye was a dusty corner. She cleaned it with delicate precision, then, without knowing why, removed from her pocket a small faded photograph. It was a picture of her twin daughters, 12-year-olds with gap-toothed grins, hugging their frail grandmother. Elena propped the photo against the side wall of the vault. A silent statement, "This is what matters." Then she closed the vault gently and walked away. Upstairs, Marcus watched it all. His fingers trembled, not out of anger but disbelief. The woman had placed her family above millions. Marcus Duvall wasn't used to being surprised. But watching Elena reframe his test into a moment of quiet grace left him shaken. That night, as the city lights blinked below his penthouse, Marcus replayed the footage, every gesture, every breath. He paused the frame on the photograph, the 2 girls and the old woman. Who were they? What was Elena hiding behind those tired eyes and silent footsteps? He ordered a discreet background check. Days passed and the report arrived. Elena Marquez, widowed. Husband killed in a construction accident. Mother ill on dialysis. 2 daughters, both scholarship students, multiple part-time jobs. No criminal record, no red flags, only quiet struggle. Marcus leaned back in his chair. For the first time in years, guilt crept into his fortress-like heart. He had tested her integrity and found himself the one being judged. 3 days later, Elena arrived at work and found an envelope on the kitchen counter. No name, just for you. Suspicious but curious, she opened it. Inside were 3 documents: a scholarship confirmation for her daughters to attend a top private school, a medical transfer notice granting her mother access to a leading hospital, and a short handwritten note. "This is not charity. It's a repayment owed to someone who taught me the meaning of trust." No signature. But she knew, Marcus. Her knees nearly gave way. She folded the documents back into the envelope and clutched them to her chest. She didn't cry, she hadn't allowed herself to in years. But a quiet, quivering smile appeared. Upstairs, Marcus watched from behind tinted glass. For the first time in a decade, he felt good. Elena tried to maintain composure in the days following the envelope. She said nothing, but every glance toward Marcus felt different. The air between them shifted, from stiff professionalism to something tentative, fragile. Marcus, too, felt the weight of her silence. He wanted to say something, acknowledge the gesture, open a conversation, but pride restrained him. Instead, he observed her from afar. But word within the staff traveled fast. The butler noticed Elena humming. The gardener said she smiled more. Whispers spread. The quiet maid had been noticed by the boss. The gossip was harmless at first, until it wasn't. One evening, Elena overheard 2 staff members in the hallway. "She's not cleaning anymore, she's climbing. Must have done something to earn those gifts." Elena froze. The air turned bitter. That night she considered quitting, not because she was guilty, but because she was tired of proving herself. The next morning, Marcus noticed Elena's absence from her usual tasks. By noon he summoned her. When she entered his office, he sensed the tension in her posture. "Elena, is everything all right?" She hesitated. "Sir, I appreciate your generosity, but the gifts, they've made things harder." He looked at her, surprised. "Harder?" She nodded. "I came here to earn, not to be questioned. People talk. They think I traded dignity for favors." The words hit him like cold water. For a man who valued power and perception, he'd failed to consider the cost of his gesture. "I never intended that," he said softly. "I know, but intention doesn't protect from assumptions." That day he saw her not as an employee, but as a woman walking a tightrope between survival and integrity, and for the first time Marcus apologized. Weeks passed, Alina's routine normalized, though she remained distant. Then one afternoon a woman arrived at the estate. Amanda Rycroft, a relentless business journalist known for exposing corruption in high places. She wasn't there for Marcus's companies. She wanted to know about Alina. "I've heard interesting things," Amanda said, voice sharp. "A maid suddenly linked to scholarships and hospital transfers. Looks like a quiet scandal waiting to happen." Marcus's jaw clenched. "She has nothing to hide," Amanda smiled. "Then you won't mind if I investigate." Marcus realized that even the purest acts could be twisted. Protecting Alina meant acting decisively and quietly. That evening Marcus called his PR chief and legal team. "I want anything remotely personal about Alina removed from every internal record. Her name, address, family, erased." They were confused. "Sir, may I ask why?" "She's being targeted because of me." "That ends now." He issued a legal warning to Amanda Rycroft's media firm, citing harassment. He also personally called Amanda. "You want dirt? Come after me." "Leave her alone." The call ended with a threat and a promise. If Amanda pushed forward, she'd face a legal firestorm. Elena never learned the full extent of what Marcus did that night, but the smear campaign never materialized. Elena noticed subtle changes. Calls stopped, no more whispers, and Marcus seemed oddly considerate. One morning he handed her an envelope, this time face to face, inside a job offer, not as housekeeper, but as director of a new foundation, the Duvall Trust for Women and Children. "I need someone with compassion, someone who understands struggle." "You," Elena blinked. "You're offering me an executive position?" "Yes," Marcus replied. "Not out of pity, because you've already proven yourself more than anyone in my boardroom." She didn't answer immediately, but something shifted in her. The pain, the fatigue, the invisible labor, it was finally being seen. After 2 sleepless nights and long talks with her daughters and mother, Elena accepted. Her first day at the Duvall Trust was surreal. A spacious office, a team awaiting her leadership. She wore a tailored suit, still modest but powerful. Marcus introduced her at the press launch, praising her resilience and moral compass. Cameras flashed, questions came flying, but Elena spoke with calm assurance. "This foundation exists because too many women are judged by the weight of their struggles rather than the strength of their choices." That speech trended for days, not because it was flashy, but because it was real. Success breeds resentment. A few members of Marcus's executive circle weren't pleased. A housekeeper, now a director, ridiculous. One board member, Cyrus Bell, demanded answers. "What are her qualifications?" Marcus replied. "She has something none of you do, my complete trust." Still, the tension brewed, emails leaked. Anonymous letters began appearing in Elena's inbox, telling her she didn't belong, that she was just a maid in heels. Elena didn't confront them. She let her work speak. Budgets balanced, aid programs launched, partnerships formed. Slowly the noise died. Months passed and Elena's success grew. But so did the strain. Her mother's health declined, her daughters struggled to adjust to their elite school, and Marcus, once a pillar of silent support, became more distant, tied up in corporate wars. One evening, Elena collapsed during a conference. Dehydration and stress. Marcus was called immediately. At the hospital, he found her pale, asleep. Seeing her like that broke something in him. He realized he'd handed her a title, not support. When she woke, he simply said, "I'm sorry, I gave you a mission, not a partner." A week later, Marcus invited Elena to a quiet lunch at his private garden. No cameras, no boardroom, just 2 people walking among orchids and silence. "Elena," he said, "this whole journey started because I didn't trust anyone. And now I trust you more than myself." She looked at him, softening. "I didn't need gifts, Marcus. I needed respect, and maybe friendship." He smiled faintly. "Could we start there?" They did. That day, for the first time, they laughed, really laughed. But peace never lasts long. Amanda Rycroft returned, this time with leaked footage from the hidden camera Marcus had used during the test. Though innocent, the footage painted a different narrative when edited. Elena standing in front of an open vault, reaching inside. It aired anonymously online. The internet exploded. Gold digger director, housekeeper hustle, public opinion divided. Elena offered her resignation. Marcus refused. "If we run now, they win. If you step down, you validate the lie." Instead, he organized a press conference. They stood together, side by side. Marcus admitted everything, the test, the camera, his own failings. Then he said, "Elena didn't take a cent. What she left inside that vault was her family. That's who she is." Tears welled in Elena's eyes. For the first time the world heard the truth from the man who once distrusted everyone. The backlash faded. Elena stayed. Public sentiment shifted in her favor. The Duvall Trust received double the funding, and something else shifted. Marcus, once a solitary figure, began opening up, not just to Elena but to others. He even started mentoring at-risk youth. Elena, meanwhile, expanded the foundation's reach to 3 countries, but behind the achievements was something deeper, a growing affection between them. One evening during a charity gala, Marcus found Elena alone on a balcony, watching the night sky. "I've been trying to figure out what I feel," he said, "and I think it's admiration, and maybe something more." Elena turned. "Are you saying I'm saying I trust you, fully, and I never thought I'd say that to anyone again." They stood silently, side by side. Words weren't needed. Elena's daughters began calling Marcus Uncle M. Her mother, recovering steadily, often invited him for Sunday dinners. He laughed more, smiled more. The house, once sterile, now felt like a home. Staff gossip turned to awe. Their bond was still undefined, neither romantic nor strictly platonic, but it was real. 2 years later, Marcus announced he was stepping down as CEO to focus on the foundation full-time, with Elena as co-director. Reporters asked, "Do you regret the test that started all this?" He replied, "That test was meant to uncover weakness, but it revealed strength, not hers, mine, because I learned how much I lacked." Elena stood beside him, glowing with purpose. In the end, it wasn't money, power, or fame that changed Marcus's life. It was a woman who refused to bend. Elena's story wasn't one of rescue. It was one of presence, of choosing not to steal when the world expected her to, of holding her head high. And Marcus's story wasn't one of redemption. It was awakening. They built a legacy together, not because they had to, but because trust, once earned, demanded nothing less. If this story moved you, inspired you, or made you believe in quiet strength, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more powerful stories.